Welcome back, everyone, to Business Talk, the show where we dive deep into the industries that keep our world moving. I'm your host, DDA, and in today's episode, I'll be speaking with Margaret. She owns a company that's called Pilates at Your Place, and we all love Pilates, don't we, Margaret?
Absolutely.
So, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great, thank you.
I
And you?
love. I'm doing great. I love that background. We were
Thank
talking about
you.
that earlier. It's just so. What's the word I use? Tranquil, right?
Tranquil. Yes, this is my
Yes.
favorite little zenny place.
Yes, I love it. So, listeners, in each episode, our guests share practical tips and valuable advice that can help you navigate life and stay ahead of your journey. If you're enjoying this content, make sure you like this video, subscribe to the channel, and maybe leave a comment for our guests as well. And stick around until the end because our guests will share a powerful story about a customer whose experience truly highlights the impact of her services that she offers. So, with that being said, take it away, Margaret. Let's talk a little bit about your background. Let's get to know a little bit about you.
Okay, so my journey probably, I guess, starts when I was about 50 years ago, to be honest with you. I was always into exercise to some extent. A very dear friend of mine recommended Pilates to me, and I was like, oh, I do everything. I don't need Pilates too. I figured I was on my roll and doing my thing. Now I'm in my 20s. Well, now I'm in my 30s, and I have my son, and I take him to a gym one day, and they have a Pilates class. And I go, you know what? Let me give this a whirl. I don't know. Maybe it's something I'll enjoy. Haven't, done this in a while. I kept working out, but I wasn't in the gym scene. But now I was back, and I went into the class, and I was like, oh my God, this is totally different. Now, my whole premise in life was always about core. I don't know why, but that was my focus since I was a young person. And when I learned about it and really started delving into it, I started realizing, oh my God, this is kind of what has been on my head my whole life. And now
Right.
here I'm finding this, workout that is really core based. I was like, this is really cool. And I've been doing it ever since.
So let's talk about that word core. What does
Yeah.
that look like?
Core means you're talking from your shoulders down to your, waistline area. And this is the core. I mean, your core is supporting your back. And then from there, it's like that's the foundation. And then when your limbs extend from your body in Pilates, we start small, but we extend. When your
Hmm.
legs go out or your arms go out, it changes the plane and how your body works. And so you have to know how to use the levers because these are your levers, and like I would say to people, this is your machine, this is your car, this is going to take you through life, and you want to keep that car revving. And well, the first exercise out of the gate is called the 100, and that gets the body going. It starts the engine. It gets
When
you to
you
understand the breath and how to move and how the body fluids start to move and the blood circulation and all that stuff, and that's all part of the process.
I was going to say that about the blood circulation when you say you get the body moving. And I'm assuming that blood circulation is so important, especially when you're in the gym or you're doing what you're doing with Pilates, correct?
Correct. Absolutely. Yes.
And it's all about the way you do it. It's not about rushing through the technique. It's all about technique, right? And
It's
making sure. Yeah,
it's
go ahead.
control, actually.
I like
You
that word
need,
better.
yeah. It his started. Joseph Pilates is the founder of this work, and his whole premise was controlology was the word he used, and that's what it is. Your brain and your body have to work in sync, and the brain is very powerful. If we all could use it the way it's supposed to be used, we can all tap into so many things. And one of them is working with your body. When you lift a box from the floor, how many people throw their back out because they don't know how to use their body? That's what
Yeah.
Pilates brings to the world, is the fact that it really you're it's almost ingrained in your brain, so you don't have to think about it anymore once you do it enough. But you have to train yourself, which means you have to do this. It's a practice, like a yoga or anything else. You have to practice, and you can't
Uh,
look. And every day is a new day, and every person's going to feel differently. Some of us have arthritis. Some of us have degeneration. Age is just imminent. So you really need to work on tuning up this fine motor that we have and keeping it healthy so that we can go through life and enjoy the journey.
I love that. What is one of the biggest misconceptions that people have about Pilates?
It's not like yoga. They always want to think it's yoga. No, it's not. You know, Pilates is mind body, like yoga is a mind body, but it's building strength. It's improving the muscle tone, increasing your flexibility. It enhances your body control. And so it brings other things to the table. I'm not saying don't do yoga too or any other exercise you want. And I always say to people too, if nothing else, get the premise of Pilates because it's really going to help you down the road. Like, I didn't know half the things I know now about the body and how it works back in the day when I was just at the gym, you know, working
Hmm.
the weights and all that stuff. You know, now I understand more about it. So, like, I was in the gym recently with my daughter and I was watching her posture and I went over to her. I go, you know, Samantha, you got to make sure the back is, and she goes, no, I felt that, Mom. Yeah, you're right. You know, so you got to be on top of your game. But again, even I go for training with people because I don't always see myself properly. I think I'm doing it right. And of course, my world is about sharing with you the best form I can give you so you see it right. Because if we
Right.
don't get it in our brain right, we can't execute it properly, you know. And so I really, that's why there's a really big mind body connection with it because you have to ingest it so that you can and then you, but again, a lot of people see things differently, right? You know, like it's a visual. I do the work with the people because I, a lot of people can't, have to see the visual as well
Right.
as hearing. There's all those modalities you have to consider.
I was going to ask you about mind body practice, and you actually answered it. That's not a bad thing, right?
No,
How
I would,
can go ahead?
no, I was just saying I would hope not. Go
Yeah.
ahead.
How can being more body aware through Pilates impact your stress, your focus, and even your confidence?
Well, first of all, exercise in general is a stress reliever, hands down. I just think everyone should really work on, you know, a lot of people push exercise to the side a lot. Like, I don't have the time. But you know what? You make the time for the cup of coffee or the glass of wine with your friend. Make the time for you. You know, I've always been a proponent of you should be first. Because if you can't take care of you, you can't take care of anyone else.
That's
You
right.
know, this is your starting point. So go out of the gate and do what you got to do. I used to get up at 4 in the morning to take care of me so that I can be there for my children when they got up. When my ex-husband left for work, I was at least there so that I was present.
Right.
Again, being present is so important.
In reference to sessions, maybe a little off topic here. What's a normal session? And I mean, how long is a normal session?
I mean, I've mastered to do it myself in a half hour's time or more or less, but you need at least a 45 minute to an hour session to really, or even 50 minutes. But, you know, I add a lot of extra stretching and extra stuff like that into the
Mhm.
practice when I do my hour sessions with my clients. Um, but again, the work is 35 exercises. I only do mat Pilates. That is my favorite, and I do not waver from that. I'm only trained in that work. I'm mat 3 certified in mat Pilates, so I've done everything I can do to like get to the top tier. Um, and I've been doing it now 24 years. So it's
Well,
really,
congratulations. That's huge.
thank you.
For,
Yes, and
yeah.
yeah, go ahead.
No, no, no. I'm just saying that's awesome.
Thank you.
25 years and doing Pilates and just trying to master the techniques. Um, and
Because sometimes
kudos.
I think well, for me personally, I can't do everything, but I
Right.
I want to hone in on being as perfect at this. And we're never going to be perfect, but you know, and because some days you wake up and your body isn't moving so great, you know. I do have
Correct.
arthritis. I have degeneration of the neck and the hip, but I move like a kid and I can get on the floor. I can get up off the floor. You know, once we start not doing those movements for ourselves, like a lot of people sit in a chair, you lose it. You just do. I mean, I have clients who come back to me, Margaret, they took a week off because they went away. They're like, oh my God, I can't believe how stiff I am.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and it's just, it's life. And it's also elements, you know, it's raining here right now, but you know, when you have different weather patterns and things, they all affect your body.
That's a great point. And it's interesting you say that. What is like, let's give our listeners one tip, something that they can use as a technique that can help them, even if they're at their home or at their desk at work. What is that one tip?
Um, Pulling your core, a big staple in Pilates is navel to spine. Again, here we go, mind, body. You have to connect with it. And it takes practice. Like I had a client recently, roll up is the second exercise in the Pilates repertoire. She couldn't do it. And I'm like, no, you can't do it yet. It's never you can't do it, because you never want to give yourself the brain power to say, I can't. Because when you do that, you give it away. You need to say yet, so your body knows it's coming. It's just not there yet.
Right.
So you give them tools, like I have them use a wall. And I'll say, okay, put your feet against the wall. Now brace yourself there. Now try to roll up and pull yourself. Now, if you're at a desk, I say do a roll down. It's just a version of roll up, but now you can use the wall. They call it, there's a wall Pilates now, where you can lean against the wall and roll down, where you can also just stand up and know when I say that, you got to bring your chin to your chest, like as if you have a tennis ball underneath your neck, underneath here, and you roll back down to the floor, but then roll vertebra by vertebra back up so you stand tall. Again, helping that alignment with the spine, because again, posture is so important. You want to stand tall and feel proud, right? Which is how we build our confidence. Because when you stand tall and proud, you're feeling really good.
100%. I agree with that. Wow, very good. And that, as we're kind of wrapping up, there's that story, and you kind of already gave a story of someone. Is there another story that really kind of stands out of one of your customers that said, wow, Margaret, thank you so much, because I was this and now I'm that?
Oh, I had a client who was doing beautifully. She would send me snapshots of her body, how it was transforming. She couldn't get over the cuts she was getting in her body.
Wow.
And the type of body that was forming. Unfortunately, then life got in the way. She stopped working out, and and that's the thing. People drop it, and it's like, and I always say to people, even if you could do 10 minutes a day,
right,
do something to move that body so that you can keep it going and keep the engine fired.
Yeah, I love it. I love that.
I got to get you on the mat.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah, absolutely. That would, I would.
It is a guy's thing too,
No. I agree. I agree 100%. Wow, this has just been a pleasure. I'm so happy and honored that you were able to take time out of your busy schedule to share with our listeners some of the do's and don'ts, more do's, right, of what Pilates is so good for in reference to your overall well-being. And with that being said, could you provide our listeners a phone number as well as a website to get a hold of you?
Absolutely. They can reach me at www.pilatesatyourplace.com. And my phone number is 551-200-2579.
Well, Margaret, thank you again so much for spending time with us, and hopefully we can have you back again in the near future.
That would be wonderful. Thank you for your time, Didier. And
you're very welcome.
Thank you for tuning in to First Media Consulting Podcast. If you enjoyed the podcast, subscribe today. To nominate a business you would like to recommend to be on our show, go to firstmediaconsulting.com or call. Thank you for listening.